My name is Gabriel Goldstein. These are my partners, Enrique Contreras, Flamini, and we are Green Authority. Green Authority is led by a group of students of the American School of Santo Domingo with the purpose of protecting endemic species and raising awareness nationally as well as globally. Now, most of these species are in threat of the destruction of their environment. Does somebody know what is one of the major causes? Exactly, deforestation. So, deforestation is one of the major causes that these animals are losing their homes, but don't get me wrong. Don't we need to cut the trees? Don't we need chairs? Don't we need paper, pencil? Okay, most of the people, many people have a hobby thanks to this. Many people have jobs thanks to this. Think about them. They will be miserable. They will be unemployed, wouldn't they?
Hey, Rodney, what exactly do you think you're convincing these people of? You might as well bulldoze the whole planet because we don't need trees, right? Well, that's where you're wrong.
But you don't.
Hey, these people don't deserve to be fooled and tamed by your silly words. People, I come near the trees. Open your ears and minds, for I will tell you the truth.
We're not cutting that much trees.
Are you serious? You there, in the brown shirt, how many trees do you think are cut down?
I don't know, a lot.
Give me an estimate.
200,000.
Not quite. You there.
Really?
No. How about you? Approximately 50,000 trees are cut down every single day. 70% of the world's plants and animals live around trees. If we keep cutting down trees at this rate, in 100 years, we might not have trees. You know what that means? Human life will not be able to survive.
Whoa, I've never thought about it that way. I mean, I think the economy was first.
Sure, the economy is important, but you won't be alive.
Well, so you're saying that by protecting the trees, we're protecting ourselves?
Correct. I did not think you'd get that quickly. I'm actually kind of to be amazed.
Yes, he's right. Deforestation is a major problem in many areas around the world. One of the many areas affected by deforestation is Bajo Oriental, which is found in the southwestern part of the Dominican Republic, as seen in the highlighted area of the picture.
In addition to providing more than 112,000 people with drinkable water, Bajo Oriental also serves as a critical habitat for a wide range of flora and fauna, threatened mammals and threatened amphibians. Due to the impact this area has received over time, it is mosaic patches of primary forests, secondary forests, agricultural areas, and large coffee plantations. As such, Bajo Oriental was considered a key priority biodiversity area by ZEPF, which stands for Critical Ecosystem Partnership Foundation. In addition, BirdLife considered this area a key point since 27 out of the 38 endemic bird species are located in this area.
Some of the non-bird species found in Bajo Oriental are the Hispaniolan solenodon, which is pictured here, and Solenodon paradoxus is the scientific name. Some other species are the Hispaniolan hutia, the minor redback, the khaki bromeliad frog, and various different types of plants. As mentioned before, the natural reserve is home to 27 out of 38 bird species endemic to the region, making it a very important place for Hispaniolan birds. Some of the bird species found there are the bay-breasted cuckoo, Lascelle thrush, the Hispaniolan Amazon, the Hispaniolan parakeet, the black-capped petrel, and the white-winged warbler. Besides those birds, there's another group of birds that migrates to this region during the winter. It gets too cold in their native countries and they need the warmth from countries such as this one. An example of one of the birds that does this is the big-nosed thrush. The people at Bajo Oriental have been working with three main organizations. The first is the IDDI, which is a non-profit organization which works to fight poverty in both rural and urban areas. The next is the CEPF, which is a foundation that works to provide non-government organizations with the funds they need to protect key biodiversity spots, and El Ministerio de Medio Ambiente y Recursos Naturales, which is the Dominican branch of government that works with the natural environment and its resources.
Okay, now, there are many threats to the plants and animals in this area. Know that out of the 38 endemic birds of the whole country, 27 are found in Balgurin Natural Reserve. And they are in danger of extinction by deforestation. Because by cutting down the trees, people, they change the habitat of the animals. People who cause these threats are small farmers and villagers who live up the mountain who are not conscious of the situation, and they cut down the trees to use the wood as coal and to clear the land for agriculture. Okay, does anyone of you know what happens when people cut down trees on slope? Do you?
Erosion?
Okay. Exactly. What happens is that when it rains, water washes away to the plants, resulting in soil erosions. This causes another problem because when this happens, they have to move from another place inside the reserve and deforestate again.
Okay, does someone know the name of this rock? You? No? You? Yes. Domingo is a blue pectolite, endemic to the Dominican Republic. Its endemic origins and blue color make it a very profitable gemstone, and it's sold as jewelry to locals and tourists. This commercial expansion has caused the creation of mines over the reserve and has caused the creation of mines over the reserve. The problem with the mines is that unexperienced miners use the wood to fortify or build the structure of the mine itself, not only causing deforestation but affecting the thousands of species that depend on this species. Besides slime art, also Guadalupe is home to wild fauna of birds and frogs, and recently we have discovered a new species of frog that's so new and rare, it doesn't even have a name. This is just an example of why it's so important to protect this area and why we chose it as a group.
Okay, so now we're gonna divide you in groups. I'm gonna tell you a number, and you're gonna keep your number in your hand so you know which you are. You're gonna go to the same people that has your number, and we then are gonna continue and pass you some papers that are gonna have one problem written in it, and your group and you will discuss about the problem and try to come up with some solutions to it. Okay?
Thanks. So I will give you a number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, like let's get down to the 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. So number 1 over here, number 2 over there, number 3 over here, and then 4 over here.
I'm borrowing it.
Number 2.
No, because it's stuck to the page.
Number 4.
Ayla.
But the solution will be they say you can do the students and find them. But if you
Kaya yung nakinig.
Now, what
What time is it now?
are going to
What time does it say here? It says 10:33.
So you give some ideas, some solutions later here. We're gonna discuss that. And so the problem is
Porque en el Domingo se un tree for every tree that comes down is the one to oxygen away.
What time does this assessment do?
The problem that we're trying to solve is So remember, the religion here, like,
Cada mes, el tipo de
you're telling them what are consequences. For example, the first thing you need to do is tell them that this is but remember that it doesn't matter if they come back if they're doing it, so you need to give them also not just stuff that will be
No, but I don't know if you even said how they say it. So even guys, we will give you one more minute to wrap your ideas up, and then one member of each group will come up and tell us your ideas, your solution.
I cannot tell you so do you think because this is degree one.
Se llama Patria.
So you can make some of this okay, so if one representative of each group can come up, to tell us your solution. So that we can post that. Yeah, Gabriel, yeah. Okay, so what are you pressing? Domingo. Wait, so stand here.
First one, two, and three.
Same order.
So we'll start with group number one. Yeah. Say your name and our problem.
Oh, we started
Okay,
Chupatra. Chupatra.
Okay, so I'm Carolina, and we're group one. Our problem was deforestation, and some of the solutions that we came up together was that they should educate the villagers by creating awareness, maybe in in trees they can start nailing fun facts, by every tree you cut, this affects you in this way. And create awareness to the people who are cutting the trees. Also, they can contact the government and work with the Ministerio de Medio Ambiente. Give alternate solutions to this wood cutting people, because they need it to survive. So unless you provide them with another solution, they're gonna keep doing it. And also encouraging reforestation, they were telling me that they do reforestation once a year, maybe do it twice a year or something. For every tree you cut down, you plant 2 or 3.
Great solutions, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so my name is Mathilde. I'm representing Group 1. So the ideas that we came up with were based on farming on slopes, so finding solutions to farming on slopes. So we said that the primary thing would be to spread awareness so that people know the dangers of cutting down trees and the consequences. So we would do things like give speeches at seminars, different things like that, put up different types of signs and speak to bigger organizations so that we could expand our awareness campaign. And we could take action by encouraging people, by providing people with alternatives. So instead of planting on the slopes, maybe we could give them designated areas where they can plant that aren't on the slopes, and introduce them to like alternate ways to plant crops that don't require clearing as many trees as they do. We could also encourage them to use greenhouses to grow plants and promote reforestation.
Thank you.
And I'm Jan from Group 3. Our problem was mining. We came up with 5 solutions. The first one is exporting or importing what they're cutting down. So maybe for not to cut it down, they would receive it from other countries. Raise awareness of what mining does, because most of the results of mining are very terrible and no people know what they do. So that's why they cut down trees and they start mining, they start destroying the environment. Also, giving the workers other job opportunities. They resort to mining because they cannot find other jobs. So if people give them more jobs, maybe they could find another way to not mine. Also, maybe not stop mining, but find sustainable methods of mining that could not deforestate totally, but just kind of cut it down a little bit. And educate the miners and the owners of the mines, because maybe they don't know what they do, and when they know, they're going to stop it because it's a big issue.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Gabriela, and I will be representing Group 4, and our problem was invasive species. We came up with 4 solutions. First, if you have smaller trees that are not yet as expansive, then you can take them out by the root and then plant the endemic species in their place. Secondly, educate the villagers about the issue and spread awareness, as several of my other colleagues have stated previously. Third, anyone who plants a tree will be fined. Fourth, incentives for people to plant endemic species. So you get paid by the government in order to plant some of the endemic species, which are on the verge of being overpopulated by the invasive species. Thank you.
Thank you. By the way, it's recycled paper, so we're not
Thank you for your solutions.
Okay, so now we're gonna tell us, since you told us your solutions, now we're gonna tell us the solutions we're doing with this problem. We're gonna do kind of fast and so
Okay, so IDDI is an organization that is helping with our reserve. One of their representatives came to us and told us, hey, can you help us with some of these solutions? And they gave us this list and tell us what were the most likely that we could do. So they told us that we could put signs in the reservations, that we could do reforestation at the reserve, that we could do greenhouses, that we also could remove invasive species that are on the reserve. Also that we can do raise awareness about the situation. Also to educate the inhabitants, and at the last to monitor attracting species. Okay, so as I said, the reserve is not very famous. So we are raising awareness throughout the internet about what is Badugorintal, where is it located, what's the situation there, and most importantly, what can we do about, what can you do to contribute to the problem, to the solution. Okay, we have already created a Facebook page titled as Green Authority TR. Here you can find information about ourselves, which is Green Authority, and it has photos of the activities that we have already done. Also, it has updates of the activities we're up to and what you can do to help us. Perhaps from the Facebook page, we have also created a website that is badugorintal.blogspot.com. Here you can find more information, not just about ourselves, but also about Badugorintal Natural Reserve. It has the location of the reserve, a gallery of pictures, the endemic species in danger that live in the reserve, the threats we're facing, a small summary of who are we, the activities we're up to, and also how to contact us. Okay, because the reserve is not very famous, it doesn't have signs to mark the protected area. So it's very easy to get confused when you're entering the area. Because of this, we're putting signs around the area to remind the people that we are entering the area, and also we'll be putting them inside the area to say, hey, we're in a protected area, please keep it clean, don't cut down trees, don't mine, and all that. Okay, as my friend here, Carolina, was saying that we also have to find alternate jobs to the people that are doing these problems. So we have came up to so that we can offer them to do agritourism. Does anyone of you know what agritourism is? Who is that? Do you? What is?
Ecotourism is when you do tourism, but it's friendly for the environment.
Exactly. Agritourism is a responsible travel to natural areas such as Bauduco that improves the welfare of the local people. This will help Bauduco because it will not just promote the reserve, but also it will help the economy of the people living there. And it will give them an alternate job that doesn't harm the environment.
So thanks to that, some of the interviews that we have with the IDDI representative, who's called Mr. Juan Diaz, we know that there are small farmers and villagers living in and near the mountain that are cutting the trees, and we all know that's bad, and even more when these trees affect the endemic species and are trees such as the Ébano Verde. So we know that raising awareness is a pretty important step on trying to solve all these problems, and from your solutions, who all included the step of raising awareness between the villagers. So, Bauduco is not only dealing with mining and deforestation, but also with invasive species. Invasive species are species that are foreign from that place and that affect, not in a good way, the environment. So, one of the most invasive species is a neem from Indonesia, and this species is brought from the villagers because it is said to repel mosquitoes, and we all know that that's a big problem here in the Dominican Republic. So, the solution that we came up with in the interview with Mr. Juan Diaz was to just remove from the root, as Group 4 had come up, the species, and then educate the villagers so they won't keep planting the species. Yep. So, Green Authority is also helping in a program to reforest the areas that are cleared down due to the cutting down of trees from the villagers, and this is because they take the trees for mining, and they also use the spot for crop planting. Now, in the interview as well with Mr. Diaz, we came up with the solution of a greenhouse, and everybody knows. Who can explain what's a greenhouse? Nobody.
It's a closed area which you use to plant.
So that's true, but it is also a place where you have more control of the plants. So you can protect them from wildlife, from heavy rains and winds, and in this specific case, as Edgar said, from soil erosion, which keeps on making the villagers and farmers move from place to place and keep cutting down trees. And making a greenhouse a space for them to plant this will prevent them from doing this. Green Authority has also been going to the Bauduco, here's a photo of it, and we have there talked to the people working there, and they have told us what are the problems that they're dealing with, other problems that we have said previously, and we asked them in what ways we could help with these problems. They have also showed us where they have the Ébano Verde nursery that's part of the reforestation plan. And the Ébano Verde is one of the endemic species there that most suffer in the preserve because it's been cut down to be used for mining or to make up space. Green Authority has not just been working with Bauduco, but has also been working on helping in reforestation in other places of the Dominican Republic, such as Monte Plata. So these were our solutions, and we already heard yours also, but now you have two options. Are you gonna go out of here and just forget about this whole presentation, about the problems that we told you, about the solutions that you thought of, and have a great day? Or are you gonna do something about it? You're not gonna let this be and you're gonna make a great day for so many people. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, now, do you have any questions?
Any questions? You want to take a picture of them? Because he's like.
Want to just
Oh, and his name is
Patrick.
Because we didn't mention.
Thank you.
So, any questions?